Hey, what's y'all? Got my almonds. We are going to talk about T.S. Madison and her new show on We. I am Diamond Stylz, Executive Director of Black Trans Women's Inc., and host and producer of Marsha's Play podcast. So good. Hey, Ari. Hey, Miss Poke. How are y'all? Let me think. So, as we all know, the hilarious T.S. Madison has a new show called The T.S. Madison Experience on We. And I am so excited for her. This is a step up. This is an upgrade. I love it. I love it. Thank you. I know that's right. Make that money. Well, I told y'all I was going to hit y'all with, last night, earlier this morning, that one was unplanned. I was just not sleepy and bored. So, but I told y'all I was going to hit y'all with the T.S. Madison review. Have y'all watched it? Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't have cable. I don't have cable either, but you can find it on different platforms. I think I watched it on YouTube, or I think I watched it somewhere. I can't remember exactly where I watched it, but it's somewhere. Let's see. I watched this because I don't have cable either. I have all my streaming services. I have my Fire Stick. You know how Fire Stick can give you access. But I have all my streaming services, Netflix, Hulu. Shit, by the time you I was about to say by the time you pay for streaming services, you might as well be paying for cable. But that's if you have all the streaming services. I only have Hulu, Netflix, and Disney Plus because Beyonce, she's a capitalist and just forced me to have to get Disney Plus for Black is King. I love her, but I know what it is. I get HBO through Amazon Prime. I get Hulu and through my phone bill. Like they're like a bundle package. There actually is a bundle package between Disney, ESPN, and Hulu. So I got to call them and see how I can get that all together, child. Oh, wow. Sickening. You got all of them for free? That's nice. What's that hookup? I think Philo has WeTV as well. Work. I bum the crap out of people. I used to have one of my white allies gave me their Disney pass code for free just so I can watch it without paying. But their password stopped working and I was too ashamed to ask them for their password to be like, girl, your passcode's not working, honey. I was too ashamed. So I went ahead and got it. Because I hate depending on motherfuckers. Did you pay your bill, girl? All that kind of stuff. And then one of my cisgender women friends, she worked for Comcast. So because she's like a worker for Comcast, she gave me her passcode so I can watch all kind of stuff. But for some reason, when I put my Spectrum code in, I can't watch WeTV. I can watch other stuff, but I can't watch WeTV. So something is up with it. I gotta hit her up and let her know. I bought all of that from my cousin who paid for it. She's rich and got money, so help me out, sis. I know that's right. Mm. Y'all know what else I pay for? That has been quite an unexpected learning experience. And I'm not saying it's worth it for everybody, but it has been. I am eating almonds. Simple Truth sea salt almonds. Um, no, almonds. I, I used to like cornets. I don't like them no more. Anyway, what's really been good, a good investment, is the masterclass. Those masterclass, like tutorials from people who are masters in their craft. This year, they have Roxanne Gay, they have Issa Rae, they have so many. They every year they have things, but if you are a creative or a chef or an artist or a gardener, they got this dude that teaches you how to garden in more detail. Because I already know how to grow shit. Like if I was farming, I would know how to do it, but he just in more detail. So those master classes, I'm not. I'm just telling you for me. I'm not saying that it was going to be worth it for you, but for me, I love it. But yes. Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Coco. I made it. I made it. Hey, everyone. Did I miss the tea? No tea. We just started. Um, let's see. Let's see. Comcast is the devil. What you eating, girl? Yes, 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 yes. The girls are sitting. Yes, they are sitting. I'm going to the doctor on Monday. This is the first time I'm going. This is about to be my new primary doctor, and this is my first time going to her. So pray for me. You know how that goes if you're a trans person. Um, I've, I hope she's good. I hope I don't have any issues, but I am thinking about asking her to figure out how I can get a reduction because these things are getting out of hand. um, because I've gained a lot of weight since when I first got my stuff, and so it's like, ooh, these tits are getting crazy, and so I'm thinking about getting a reduction, and of course the mammogram and weird shit. So that's what I'm thinking about. Let's see. I think everybody should be. Um, okay, we got enough people. Make sure you got thumbs up. All right. So, child, I be telling the girls when y'all young, honey, don't go big, honey. Get y'all, cause y'all go as y'all get older, honey, you gonna gain some weight, child. You gonna get, soft and auntie, baby. So get regular and see what your body do with that. Don't go big. I should have got like a cute little, you know, a C cup, B cup, honey. And then that would gave me some room to when I gain my weight. It's normal, baby. I got me old nasty D. Old nasty D, and now I'm a fucking double, triple D. So yes, let's get into the conversation. So as we all know, T.S. Madison has been on social media wreaking havoc in various forms. Y'all know I did an interview with T.S. Madison and we explained some of her history in being on the internet and being a mogul on the internet in the adult film world. And then how she transferred into that through a Vine video that went viral. You know, her intention was to promote and, you know, and it just went viral and she became an internet sensation. And so from that opportunity, she has been on Glee, she has been on RuPaul Drag Race, she has been, you know, she has been making her rounds, doing whatever manager she got or her mindset around steering her manager into these directions. They really have gotten her a lot of publicity over the years to be a part of things. Now, of course, this is not without pushback. There are a lot of people that felt like, you know, T.S. Madison wasn't a good representation of the trans community based on her history, based on her, you know, she has some unique takes on trans culture, her own identity. And so in that process, a lot of people was like, y'all giving her too much shine. She is not a good representation, blah, 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 blah. Those old school, antiquated ways of thinking that revolve around respectability politics. Because she used to be an escort, because she's loud, because she's ghetto, all those stereotypes of trans women that sit at the intersection of being trans and being a Black woman. When you are a Black trans woman. So loud, ghetto, unrefined, blah, 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 all that bullshit. I guess they won in Carmen Carrera. I think she was one of the people who had a problem with T.S. Madison. But like I have said many times, I feel like not that I am, I don't, there's no timing in when you're trans. There's no, you're trans when you say you're trans. But for me, at the time that Carmen was saying these detracting things about T.S. Madison, I felt like, girl, you were just shaving your beard on RuPaul's Drag Race as a drag queen and as a boy. And now all of a sudden you feel like because you have this celebrity from this drag show who has a history until this season of being transphobic, you was on this show being celebrated, and all of a sudden you got so much to say about a Black trans woman, and you're a white passing Latinx woman. You need to go, that just became a woman. You just got your ass handed to you at that time, just got your ass handed to you by a Katie Couric asking you these weird ass questions and you didn't know how to respond to them. And a Black trans woman come on the show right behind you and saved your ass and read her and let her know, girl, you don't need to be asking questions about my body. You couldn't even answer the question right. You had to have Laverne, a Black trans woman, come in and save your ass. So you really need to go sit down and not necessarily learn how to be a woman, but settle in that space long enough to become experienced enough to speak on this life. You're talking about a Black trans woman who has been a woman for a very, very long time, living a totally different life than you while you was doing drag as a little Latin boy in drag. Go sit down. That was my idea when I heard her say those things. So maybe they might have wanted her, but I hope not. So let me get off my soapbox. You know, there's a lot of retractors, but in pure T.S. Madison fashion, she just kept going. She just kept going, kept going, and kept going. And so here we are today in, and of course we know about her with Kaya and the experience with her taking the chance, that's my opinion, taking a chance on bringing somebody like Kaya into her brand. Not saying that they're much different in the sense of audience, because I do think they have a very huge overlap in their audience. Messy black cis women and messy black gays. I think those demographics love a T.S. Madison and love a Kaya. I think, I think that is quite a staple in their audiences. And so I don't think she's taking a chance in that regards, but taking a chance in the LGBT people that look at Kaya as a transphobe, taking a chance on her into her brand, that was a chance. But it also was magic. When they got together, it was magic. It was a kiki, it was fun, it was hilarious, it was magic. And so that not working out. And so people saying, oh, what are you without Kaya? What are you gonna do now? More retractors. What are you gonna do now? Now that Kaya's gone, it's not funny. Now that Kaya's gone, y'all need to make it up. And I'm sure that people was telling Kaya that too. Maybe not as much, but there's people who were like, Madison ain't gonna be shit now that Kaya's gone. And here she goes. She kept on with her show, started bringing more people in, more people into her show. And as a person who runs a show, I don't have these type of problems at all. And I love my co-host, but love them. There ain't no issue with my co-host at all. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be Diamond Stylz if Mia Enzi leaves. If if I have to run a show by myself, I'm still going to be Diamond Stylz, and Marsha's Play is still going to be Marsha's Play. It's still going to be what I deem it to be. That's why I can do interviews by myself. That's why I intentionally do these things, so that if there is a moment when I can't work with them, or they don't want to work, or they go and do something else, Marsha's Plate is still going to go on. It's still going to have the meat, which is me. That is what it is. And so I understood that. So she went on. She was like, yeah, we were magic. Me and Kaya was magic, but we can't work together no more. I did my best to try to salvage that relationship or keep it cute, and it didn't work out, and it blew up in my face. And so now I got to go on and do my thing. I'm like, you can't, one monkey don't stop no show. And so, honey, this monkey got to go on. And so she went on and continued the Queen Supreme. It didn't Queen Supreme Court, then she renamed it something like that. And went on, brought other people on the show, different like C-list celebrities on, and started to build her audience even more by bringing other people onto the show. You feel what I'm saying? So I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was a trooper, that is steadfast. I thought it was amazing. So here we go, years later, and it's been in the making. And finally, she has her own show, the T.S. Madison Experience. I was excited about it. I felt like this is going to be great because we've never really seen something like this in reality TV. Like if we talk about a couple of years ago, I don't know if y'all remember back in, I don't really remember the year. They tried to do a pilot with trans women for a reality TV show. It was Temperance, Chastity Moore, aka Chastity Moore, Trace. It was a bunch of trans girls that were going to be on this. There was a pilot that was shot. And so I was so excited about it because I thought it was going to get picked up, and it didn't get picked up. I remember Shauna. I remember it was a couple of trans girls, just like popular internet community girls that were, gorgeous and, talented. And so it never manifested. So I was like, damn, because it just wasn't, we hadn't had all of these, as no pun intended, but turning point or tipping point. What was Laverne's Times cover a text? It was the tipping point or the turning point or something like that. There wasn't this tipping point that started this movement, this like trans renaissance that happened. We hadn't had Laverne, Janet Mock, and etc. things happening that pushed culture in a different direction. So it wasn't time, and it didn't work. So this is a reality TV show that centers a Black trans woman and queer men coming into the fold and following her journey to get a show or her journey to, take over television. And so we've never seen queer people on a reality TV show that is the center and not an accessory. So a lot of times when you see queer people on reality TV, to me, like when I watch Love and Hip Hop, different franchises, it feels like the queer people on that show are an accessory, are a like a afterthought, or a secondary storyline. They are not the main characters. They are not the think about all the people that are queer that are on reality TV. They're not the main cast members. They're never the main cast members. It's always, oh, my friend or my Judy, an accessory like a little dog coming on. Now there's some things that they try to do they try to be a little bit more serious and do a main storyline, but they still weren't the main cast members. It was like we have the A people and then we have the B people. And then sometimes they pick the most ridiculous people. No shade. I thought it was interesting that this show will be centering a Black trans woman and centering the main characters of the show will be queer people, which is a lot of pressure because it has to be entertaining and it has to be fun and it has to be, a kiki. I think they're trying to give queer people just a tad bit of shine to say they are inclusive. Yes, definitely. I agree. Totally agree. Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva is, I don't know if I had to unsubscribe from Funky Dineva because she started to be real misogynist. Like, Funky Dineva is a gay man, and sometimes gay men don't know how to gauge, similar to white liberals, they don't know how to understand that they can be misogynist in the same way white liberals can be racist. And sometimes it's harder for them to get it. And the way I hear Funky Dineva talk about certain cisgender cases that he showcases on his channel, sometimes it be rooted in misogyny. And I'd be like, you don't understand how misogynistic that you're talking, or respectability politics, and coming from a man, it's misogynist. It's like, this don't feel right to me. This doesn't feel right. It feels like very judgy. It feels, and coming from a gay man, it's like, this is all misogyny and I don't like it. So I had to unsubscribe from him. I didn't like it. So yeah, it was quite rude. I didn't like it at all. Didn't like it at all. So anyway, that's outside the show. So who are y'all favorite characters on the show? If y'all watch T.S. Madison Experience. I have some favorites and I want y'all to tell me who is your favorites so far. So my favorite, and I changed my Twitter handle so far, is Miss Mary Child That's an unfair generalization. That's an unfair generalization. Explain what you mean. I'm talking about me generalizing gay men. I didn't say all. I said sometimes gay men cannot understand that they are misogynists. If you don't understand that sometimes gay men can hold misogyny in the same way that cis straight men hold misogyny, then I don't know what books are you reading. What what type of studies about female oppression are you reading? Like when it comes to uplifting women and how gay men have a history in upholding misogynist behavior. So, are we? What are we talking about? Explain that to me, being a, so I can understand what is unfair about the generalization. I'm never speaking in absolutes. I'm never speaking in a way that's saying all gay men are like this. I would never do that. That doesn't make sense. Um, but some, and particularly Funky Dineva, who I was talking about, there's many examples on his channel where he's being very misogynistic about women. So that's my opinion. Do you think gay, black, cis men have privilege? Absolutely. Being a male give you privilege. Do you have as much privilege as a straight cis male? No. Do you have oppression? It's like it's like um it's like white women. Yes, you are affected by female oppression. You are affected by misogyny. Da 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 da. But you are also privileged by your whiteness. Those two things can exist. I don't agree all males have a privilege, and that's fine. But I don't see how you don't agree. But it's fine for you not to agree. But all males in a world where patriarchy exists, all males have some level of privilege. If you're walking through the world if you believe in patriarchy, if you don't believe in patriarchy, I can totally understand how you don't agree. But if you are in a world where patriarchy is king and you are perceived in the world as male, if you're walking through the world and people are perceiving you as male, there's a privilege that comes with your maleness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think everyone, you're right, Brandon. Most everyone has privilege. Very rarely does someone not have some type of privilege. Absolutely, Brandon. Even me, as a black trans woman, there are certain things about my life that I am privileged. Let's talk about colorism. Because of the hue of my skin in black communities, well, not just black, white too, um, this hue of my skin will give me certain privileges. That's just honest, certain favor, certain, that's just what it is. That's how it works. Most everyone has, da, 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 da. But yes, but anyway, back to the show. I love Miss Mary and Oliver and Chi Chi. So Miss Mary is my favorite. Miss Mary is my favorite. I just gotta say that. Miss Mary gives me my life. I think she is a Kiki. She reminds me of, um, she reminds me of like my Mississippi aunties, my Aunt Joe, my so many of the older country women in my family. They say words wrong. They don't mind slaughtering the white man's language. They will slaughter it down. Get my life. You know, they're just, and you just accept them. I have my Aunt Joe is exactly like my Miss Mary, except she's not a Christian; she's a Jehovah Witness. That's basically the only difference. I find her to be funny, and I think I love Chi Chi. Chi Chi, I have loved Chi Chi first of all because Chi Chi is fine to me. Chi Chi is so cute. You're a cute ass butch queen. Chi Chi. Chi Chi, I love Chi Chi's lips. Chi Chi has all. I've always been a fan of Chi Chi, even like years ago. I'm talking about 10 years ago, when Chi Chi has been around longer than most of the people on that show. Chi Chi has been around for years. Chi Chi has been, um, Chi Chi has been Madison's friend forever. Her gay son forever, for as long as I've known her. Um, I wish I could smell Miss Mary's kitchen. Don't she be throwing down? She be throwing down, baby. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited to see her cooking and all that shit. Chi Chi's YouTube channel is entertaining too. I don't follow Chi Chi's YouTube channel. Link it. Put the links in the bottom, child. Anti-Moga. Miss Sophia. Hopefully Miss Sophia becomes a main character. Miss Sophia is a Kiki. I don't know how that will work though, because Miss Sophia will upstage a lot of people. I don't know if that could be a consistent thing. Throwing down in that chair, baby, tipping around the kitchen, rolling in her chair, baby, because it's arthritis, honey. Oliver, is Oliver the one with the box with the stripe, with the rogue stripe? Is that Oliver? I don't know. Which one is Oliver? The Okay, cute. Yeah, I like Oliver too. But he's so I don't know, he's just so typical. I don't know. Yeah, okay, but I think he's cute. I think he makes cute little statement. I do like Oliver. But yeah, Miss Mary and Chi are my faves. Who is the villain? Oh, I like how they have a token cis woman. Like a token cis woman in the same way that other reality TV shows have a token a token queer person. They have a token cis woman. Oh, yes. I love how they have that. He's super talented too. Yeah, they did. I love how he edited her stuff. I love the work that he's doing around that. I love it. I love that part. I love that they don't have a token white character. I thought that I thought that maybe one of the producers would have pushed for a token white character to be more, to grab more, you know, be diverse, having that token white gay character. But I'm glad that they went for the token cis black woman as her manager. He can sing and rap. Word. Do you like the residency idea? I like going for it, but don't. So this is another thing. So I didn't know. I don't want to say I didn't know, but I didn't. When I seeing the visual really gave me the idea. Madison already does a show at her house. You feel what I'm saying? She always does a show at her house. She has it in her basement, and she has people coming and listening to the show like an audience. She already has that. Why can't she do that in Atlanta? Is that, you see what I'm saying? Like she could, even before this show, I feel like what she would do, like in the Dominican Republic, when she would travel to different places and have her show, I feel like she would be able to do that in Atlanta and become a tourist attraction for Atlanta. But are they talking about doing the residency in Vegas? I may have missed that part. But are they talking about doing it in Vegas, or are they talking about doing it in Atlanta? Because I feel like they could already do that in Atlanta. Or they're talking about doing a residency in Atlanta, which I think is fire. Which, if that's the case, I think that I really think they can already do that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, she was inspired by Vegas, RuPaul's Vegas show. Okay, got it, got it, got it, got it. I didn't clock that, so I didn't. So, yes, I think that's a great idea. I think that she already has it. It's just not. She just hasn't scaled up. But that what she does, I feel she already has done it. Like when she does her events, when she goes like to the DR and the places that she's been, she already does it in those locations. And so she just needs to have it in Atlanta. I think she already does it. So I think that narrative, even without Madison having a show, that was already coming because she was already doing that. But the show just makes it bigger. And so I think that's a wonderful idea for her to have be, I don't know if y'all been to LA, but like Price is Right. Just like it's like staple tourist attraction shows in that city. And I think her being in Atlanta and creating that space where she's like literally a tourist attraction, I thought that's amazing. I thought that's a great idea. Her own means of production, yes. Mm-mm-mm. G.S. Madison Productions, her own means of production. I think somebody mentioned it earlier. Let me scroll up early on. Mr. 24/7 Star. The legacy is really Madison having an executive producer credit. She's about to create many LGBT platforms. Um, Having the executive producer credit, I think that's great. I think that's a good a step in the right direction. I just don't always see that turning into. I don't see that turning into other LGBT platforms. I just see that turning into other opportunities for her. Every time I see somebody imply they're gonna create these other platforms, that's not really whatever happens to me. It feels like they create other platforms for themselves, not for. It's not like they're bringing other community along. You see it. Hopefully, we're gonna see it with Jenna Mock with this Netflix deal that she signed a couple of years ago or whatever, a year ago or whenever it happened. So hopefully we'll see it, but I would love to see what they produce. I don't think she needs New York. I don't want to say that she needs her. I just think that in the same way that Kaya has an overlapping audience, I think that New York brings an overlapping audience. New York brings, um, New York brings a publicity. She is a reality TV icon. Um, Shit she says, she's so memeable. She's so quotable. She, they're in the same cultural vein. It's just that Tiffany is a cis woman. So of course she's going to be more palatable for mainstream audience. Not mainstream, but you get what I'm saying, more palatable for America as a whole than a trans woman. Do you think she's also the queen of reality TV? Absolutely. Do you think New York will be problematic eventually? Eventually, New York and T.S. Madison are problematic right now. I don't think it's eventually. I think that is a part. Being problematic is a part of their brand, and we love it. I don't think that being problematic necessarily mean it's cancelable. There's gonna be. We just had an experience. Ben said that I gave a overgeneralization. That's me in Ben's mind being problematic about gay men being misogynist. You're gonna be problematic to somebody. You're gonna be, but it doesn't mean that your level of being problematic is cancelable or should something you should be held accountable to or something so negative that motherfuckers shouldn't fuck with you. I don't think Madison's problematic or Tiffany problematic to me, and this is all subject to critique and subjective. I don't think that what they do that is problematic enough for me to cancel them. I love New York, but I don't think that they're a match on reality TV. I don't know. I think that they can. Half of reality TV is problematic. For real. If you want to, I mean, people complain, particularly Black reality TV show stars. Like, do you know how many people talk shit, respectability politics motherfuckers, who talk shit about Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, and that they think that this is trash TV, that like is known to be trash TV. It's known to be problematic. It's known to be a stain on American society. Like even though it's the most popular franchise to me, Real Housewife of Atlanta, there was a time when before it got to the level that it is now, that Real Housewife of Atlanta was considered the ghetto franchise because, they're Black women. So of course it's going to be considered the ghetto one. It was considered the ghetto one and all that kind of shit. Like the reality TV is going to be problematic. That's just what it is. Black women shouldn't be canceled, period, even problematic ones. That is my philosophy. I can put you in timeout, but I don't cancel you. I don't cancel Black women. I just don't. Like, there's some that, like Candace Owens. I don't fuck with you, but girl, make your coins. Work the fuck out of the motherfucking right wing white motherfuckers. Work them, bitch. I think you're tired. I think you late. I don't agree. But I'm not fucking with you. But I'm not gonna cancel you. Make your coin, girl. Have your little mixed babies, child, and do your thing. Be the bed wench that you desire to be. But I'm not gonna fuck with you. But I ain't canceling you. No, thank you. Row is my favorite reality show of all time with their problematic ass. Yes, they're very extra. They don't mind having the gay accessories on there either. So what did y'all think about the conversation with Madison and Miss Mary about her going with her life and not talking to her mother and and just going and being Maddie? What did y'all feel about that conversation? Diamond and Silk are some Black women I have to cancel. I'm sorry. You know what, Deshaun Jenkins, I don't have to cancel them because I don't engage with them. So when I cancel people, I like, okay, I canceled R. Kelly, so all of his music is deleted out of my computer. When I tried artists that I feel like are being a, I just, it just gets real problematic to me, and so I don't want to hear it at the club, particularly songs that are age ain't nothing but a number. That's Aaliyah, but songs where it's like real weird that he produced it. Um, we're gonna do, just so y'all know, I'm doing a live show on Allen versus Pharaoh on Friday, just so y'all know. So we're gonna talk about just the problematic culture, especially when your art is reflective of the shit that the gross, disgusting shit that you're doing. And so for me, I just don't engage with you. But Diamond and Silk, I don't engage with them. I don't watch them. I don't listen to them. So canceling them isn't actually canceling them. I don't watch them anyway. So it's nothing that I can stop. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah. Let's see. Powerful. I felt bad for Miss Mary, but I felt Maddie. Well, Mary was a kid when she had Maddie, so I feel like they kind of grew up together. So I am the product of a teenage mother, and me and my mother both always have said that. We have always said that my mother was my mother, but she also was kind of like my big sister too. I grew up seeing her make childish mistakes and doing childish things. I remember when my mom passed, we a lot of her friends would come up and tell me stories about my mom that I never knew or heard about, just different perspectives. And I had I call him Uncle Damon. He's one of my mom's friends, not my actual blood uncle, but been friends with her for years. Both of them did drugs and, smoked dope together. And but he's always been in my life and always been like protective and nice to me. And so I call him Uncle Damon. And so Damon hit me up and was like, "Oh, you know how I met your mom? Your mom was on a bus stop burning Robert's clothes." Robert is my little brother's father. She was on a bus stop burning Robert's clothes in the trash can on the bus stop. And so he started telling me this story about my mom doing them things. So I remembered my mom in this life. My mom was she was 16, 17 when she had me. And I was able to see her make these childish mistakes and stuff. So yeah, I definitely get that. That feeling of this is like my sister growing up, particularly as I got older. Of course, when I was young, this is mommy. But when I got older and I seen how my mother engaged with the world, it was like, okay, you're definitely more like my sister. Cause you childish as hell. So feeling bad for Miss Mary. Did I feel bad for Miss Mary? No, I don't want to say I felt bad. I understood it, but I understand it, but I feel like when a trans person transition and a parent is realizing that whatever dream that I had of my child, I got to let it go, that's not harming that parent. It may feel they're selfishly wanting to impose their idea and dreams on this human person. They may feel like it's harmful and may feel bad, but it's actually not harming you because this is their life. It's just like, take it out of the trans realm. I'm an African mother or African father, and I want my child to be a doctor. I want my child to be a dentist or something that I think is respectable. And then they say, "Oh, I want to be an actress. I want to be a comedian." And I'm like, "Oh my God, all the things that I sacrificed for you to go to college and you're going to be an actress and you're going to be a comedian? What? Oh my God." And then they're acting all hurt and extra because because she's making a decision based on her likes and her wants and her needs. That's what happened to Yvonne OG on on Insecure. Molly, she has all these degrees. She's a very intelligent woman, all these degrees, but she wanted to be an actress. They thought that they wanted her to be a doctor. And so it's this kind of fake trauma that parents go through. And I'm not a parent, so I'm just speaking out from the outside of the club. I get it. Somebody could say that you're not a parent, so you don't understand. I don't feel like you always have to be something to understand something. But I understand I had a child and they're growing up because I felt it with my little brother. There is things that I wanted my little brother to do as his big sister who helped raise him that I wanted him to do, that when he got older, he did something else. And I was like, dang, I wish he would have did that. But he didn't. He chose something else. And him making choices in his life don't harm me. It doesn't harm me. So I just feel it's fake trauma. If I sat up here and be like, oh my God, I'm so devastated that my brother didn't do this, and it just hurts my heart, and da 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 da. I feel like that's fake ass trauma. Like, it's not really hurting you. That's your ego. That's your ego. That's your own dreams of what would make you as a parent look good to the world. Is if you grow up and be a football player, you grow up and be this upstanding man to the world, because then it lets them know that I was a great parent and I wasn't this teen mother or this teen person that was irresponsible. Because what we don't talk about is how that reflection of me being trans or T.S. Madison being trans implies that somehow, even if people don't say it, that I was a bad parent and I led you to this. But if you was a respectable, upstanding young man, then it makes me look like I did my job as a parent. But people don't talk about that. But that's the truth. Parents want to seem like that they are great parents. They want to seem like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong in this situation. And it doesn't mean that if a person becomes trans that you did something wrong. Accepting that. It's rooted, because that's rooted in the idea that transness is a choice. Transness is just an environment thing. Transness is your parents had to do something. Your parents failed you. It's always anything outside of you just being trans. And so for me, I think that idea of a parent, and sometimes I don't think that parents are thinking of it this deeply, but subconsciously, I think sometimes they're just going with that flow of, oh, this was a disappointment, and I didn't want to seem like I wasn't a good parent. Like on Housewives of Poker, when new girl with the PhD's mother is the same way, Nigerian. Absolutely, there's many. I say African because I hear that a lot from African children, that their parents is like, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be da 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 da. You talked about this with Monica Roberts and her family. Absolutely. There is an expectation. There is a, honey, people are human and they're going to grow up and make decisions in their lives. And everybody's children is not going to go along with, there's a pressure and an honor, like a weird, strange, I don't want to say weird and strange. I'm sorry. That's not it. There is a culture that pressures children to make decisions that their parents want them to make. And as a child grows into an adult, relinquishing that power, transferring that power from your parents to your own autonomy, your own agency, that is a process. And so that conversation with T.S. Madison and that conversation with Miss Maddie, I felt like T.S. Madison, I don't think she may have known. She talked about this on our interview. Sometimes she doesn't know how to explain stuff in a certain way because of who she is. And I don't think she knew how to explain it But what it was conveying to me is that when she was like, I know it may be selfish to some people, I wouldn't use the language of selfish. I don't think it's selfish. I think that it is normal to have agency over your life and have agency over your body and have agency and power in your own experience and in your own trajectory, where you want to go in your life. I don't think that it's being selfish to not consider your parents in your own personal life. I just don't think that that's being selfish. That's being normal. Everybody should be choosing the direction of their life and what they want, how they want their life to turn out, and who they want to be, and their identity and identity expression and da da da. I think that that is so personal. I don't think it's being selfish, and I think that she, particularly Asian culture, they talk about it. Look at what's her name, Jeannie Mai from The Real. I love watching Jeannie Mai and her mama get into it. Live on camera. They wear it out. I love them. Because Mama might be so fucking extra. Mama might be so extra. I be wanting to cuss her ass out for Jeannie. But because Jeannie wants to respect her because this is my mama, and Jeannie doesn't want their relationship, even though years ago they didn't talk to each other for 8 years, Jeannie doesn't want her relationship with her mother to turn out like her mother and her mother's parents, where they haven't talked in 15 years or 30 years or whatever. I can't remember. That's a perfect example. Her mother, T.S. Madison said in the show, she left because she knew who she was, and that was all that matters. Her mother and them had the problem. And sometimes that's it. Sometimes that's it. You got to say, y'all is the motherfuckers with the issue. And I've done this with plenty of my family members. I'm not going to be battling, staying around you and staying in your life and be battling, getting misgendered and being disrespected and having a fight because I'm a fighter. I am a fighter. So if I feel disrespected and harmed or hurt, my natural reaction is to want to twirl you. And I don't want to be twirling my mama. And I don't want to be twirling her brothers. And I don't want to be twirling her sisters. And I don't want to be twirling my grandma. And I don't want to be fighting everybody. I want to be happy. So if I have to sit in this space and work with you and work around all of that shit, fuck that. I'm going to move and go somewhere with my life, go somewhere and do my thing and be happy. And so if motherfuckers don't understand that, you got to be like, child, I don't think that's selfish. I think that's self-care. I don't think that's selfish. I think that's self-care. You have problematic in your life. You have problematic people in your life. What do? You cut them off. Stop fucking with them. She said she was doing the hand flip sign to describe you gay. You know who I love, who utilizes the hand flip signs in their humor? Lil Nas X. That nigga is so funny. He is so funny. I need a way to watch it. Bragging rights for the parents sick. Yes. But yes, I don't know. I don't think it's selfish. I think that it is you taking the reins finally. When you're a child, you're in their house. You are forced to deal with the disrespect. You are forced to be in a situation where, I know particularly in a Black household, I don't know about everybody else, but in the Black households that I grew up around, and I don't want to generalize the Black experience, but in the Black households that I was around, it was very, you don't pay no bills. You're not the adult in this situation. You don't have an opinion about what are going on in my house. You don't have an opinion. You don't get to have a rebuttal. You don't, what I say don't make sense, it's very do as I say, not as I do. It was a very double standard because they were the adult. They were the one paying the bills. I remember being in my youth and shit didn't make sense, and I would want to talk about it. Um, and it didn't make sense, and I would get punished just for speaking up. This is just what it was. That's just the rules. You being disrespectful. And that's what happened with Jeannie Mine, her mama recently. That's what happened with Maia. I just did an interview with Maia, my spiritual mother, and she was talking about that with those Catholic priests. When she was talking about, does this make us cannibals when we're eating the flesh of Jesus? And, just the concept of this, it seems like cannibalistic. And that is a legit concern from a child. And so punishing them for those legit concerns because you can't explain is shady. And I would see that all the time. Is that my TV shaking or that's her camera? No, my legs, that's my camera. My legs are like this and the desk is in front of me. And so it's shaking the thing. And then my skirt, this is a bodycon skirt. And it's not letting me open my legs as wide as I usually can open them. So, yes. I feel so blessed to have an accepting family. I didn't have a problem with getting misgendered or called my old name, other than one drunk auntie that always forgets my female name and calls me she. There are some people, I don't want to say some people, really only one, my Aunt Jo. I don't constantly correct my Aunt Jo when she misgenders me or uses my wrong name. Everybody else I do, but it's just something about my Aunt Jo. She's 80 something. And not saying that the age is an excuse, but how she does it, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as harmful. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to explain that. It feels disrespectful when anybody does it, but for some reason with my Aunt Jo, it doesn't feel like it's intentional. I don't feel like with her because she'll like correct herself and then do it. Oh, then she'll correct herself and then do it again but it's in general conversation. It's not like there's other people who I feel like they are intentionally not saying my name just to be assholes. But with my Aunt Jo, it just doesn't feel like that. And so I don't buck up against her in that same kind of way. And I don't be around her all the time either. And so when I come to see her and enjoy my time with my Aunt Jo, I don't want to spend that time correcting pronouns and correcting names. And I just don't want to spend that time doing that with her. I don't do this with everybody, but it's something about my Aunt Jo that I just don't problematic. But oh well, it's my life, it's what I do. But yeah, I don't feel like spending my time. I'm only at her house whenever I go to Indianapolis, and I'm not there all the time. And so I just go and enjoy a meal and kikiing with her, talking about what's going on with the family and kikiing. So I just don't want to spend time correcting gender shit. It's a waste of time. Family estrangement for your betterment is not selfish, it's thriving. Absolutely, Ricardo, absolutely. So what else, T? Who do y'all think is the villain? So of course, I don't know. Who do y'all think is the villain to y'all? I feel like it's that other gay guy, the other her showrunner. I don't know his name. What is his name? It seems weird for people to misgender you once you transition for such a long time. It does. You're right. Mm-mm. It does seem weird, but sometimes it's not worth the drama. It seems only people I plan to give a pass was my great grandmother. She's 83, but even she took upon herself to call me she and her granddaughter. I never addressed it to her when I transitioned. Yeah, my aunt Joe kind of goes back and forth. It just depends. It goes back and forth. Has anyone read his books? I have not. Craig, I have not read his books. I know he said that it was like a 5 star on is it Amazon or something. I don't know. Um, he acts like the second coming. Craig, the writer, is the villain with his arrogant ass. Yeah, yeah, I think he's the villain. He's gonna be the villain on the show. Hopefully, they work that. Craig, you can tell he thinks his ass weighs a ton, but I kind of like him. There's nobody on the show that I don't like, but if anybody's the villain, I think it is Craig. I think it is Craig. Um, if there was a critique of the show that I have, there are some moments that I feel like they are with the music and how it's edited. I feel like there is some moments that are overly dramatized, that are meant to pull your heartstrings, or meant to be deeper than they actually conveyed. The deep moment for me was the moment between where Madison I had to be selfish moment, but there was a moment on when her when they were reading the mama's letter, when they was reading the letter to Miss Mary. It seemed it didn't seem as deep. It wasn't giving me the depth that I needed to give me. It was giving me like we specifically chose this letter to read today, and we're trying to create a moment on reality TV. It felt like it was too orchestrated, and it didn't land with me as a serious felt letter. Not that I know not that I don't think that Miss Mary gets letters like that, but it just didn't feel real. Not didn't feel real. It didn't feel. It felt too orchestrated. I'm giving people a few months before I start dragging them for misgendering me. I'm giving people a few months. Yeah, what my family is different. I think for me, I think I gave most of my family about, I want to say a range of 3 years, I think a varying 2 to 3 years before I'm like, now let's get it together. But I've never done that with my Aunt Joe. I've never, I was like, my name is Diamond, Aunt Joe. Like if it gets extra, and particularly when we are around groups of people, I definitely correct. But when I'm by myself with her, no, I don't correct all the time. I just because it ruins the conversation for real. For me, it what I enjoy about visiting my Aunt Joe is hearing her kiki and read people and be my Aunt Joe. And sometimes I don't want my identity to ruin that moment for me. It's more for me. It's hard to that's hard to explain. Um, it's not like I think Craig would do anything to intentionally mislead Maddie. I think overall he has the best interests at heart. Hmm. I don't know. After the Geo situation, I'll be like, I don't know. Sometimes that would have put a nasty taste in my mouth. Not that you gotta judge people for other people, but I'm always be like, Maybe they could bring Gio as a villain. Hell no. He will not be getting no check. If I was Maddie, he would not be getting nobody's check off of me. After all that shady shit he did. Hell no. I didn't know Gio was from Indy. Is he? He must be a new age Indy nigga. Well, I just don't remember him. But I ain't lived in Indy since '05. True, the letter did. Sean, was he around when I was around? I ain't been in Indy in a long time. I was in Indy from like in Indy gay scene from when Betty Boots was open, which was like 94, 95 to 99. Then I went to college. And then I came back in '02 and stayed to like '05. And then left. I ain't been in Indy like that. Except from Fishers though, the Lily White part. Not Fishers. Yes, McDonald's, give me a fish fillet. Cairnsville, Indiana. No, boo. He was about the Greg's group. Oh, okay. Child. That's why we don't know him. The OPs, niggas. Our place, baby. The 151s. That's a particular. That's any euphemisms for white. White. That is funny. But yes, I wouldn't want him on the show. I really like. I want to see where they're going. Where they're gonna go. Fish fillet from McDonald's. You don't love yourself, honey. That is my. Give me a fish fillet with extra tartar sauce and a large fry, baby. Honey, that is my tea. Yes. um, Busting it at the unicorn. Word. You know, speaking of reality TV and indie, where's Corian? Where he been at? I wish I could bring you some food. Cause it would. What time is it? Is it 8? How much more time we got? Okay. Come on, our pace. That's why I said OPs. So, what are y'all hoping for the show? What are y'all hoping for the future for the show? What are y'all hoping to see? I actually have a letter that's relevant to, not relevant to Maddie, but something that I want to talk about in the context of this I got somebody wrote me like a not a letter, but like a long letter style comment. And I want to read it to y'all for the last hour. Who is Corian? Corian is a dude from Indy. Um, he was on a reality TV show. Um, I don't know what the reality TV show is called, but he's just from there. I like to see the sidekicks get a little bit more serious. What do you mean by serious? I don't like serious. Serious is boring. So what do you mean by serious? I want to know how she will adjust her goals to account for COVID. I I want to see how they're gonna bring in Tiffany, or was Tiffany just used as a promotional tool? Less cartoonish. Hmm, I don't know. I don't know. I think sometimes when people say cartoonish, sometimes I feel like gay men being flamboyant or being feminine of any type, people or being lively, people call it cartoonish just because it's not how they think men should act. And so it doesn't matter how, if this is their regular self, it's deemed cartoonish sometimes, but it's not really cartoonish. It's just how I'm acting, how who I am, and how my personality comes off, and that is their real personality. But because it's not the stereotypical masculine or toned down personality, it's deemed cartoonish. Corian was on Hollywood Divas as Countess Von Stylish. Yes, he was. I didn't remember the name of it, but I wonder where is he at? Where's Corian at? That was my favorite indie stunt queen. Mm. It seemed like it's a put on for the show. I don't know them, of course. I don't know. Maybe it is a show, so you got to be entertaining. Mm-mm-mm. And James, James, I hadn't talked to James after we got in a fight. Um, um, After we got in that fight and had to twirl him, we didn't really talk anymore after that. But he did add me. He did add me on Facebook years later and hit me up and say some nice things. God, Indy was a mess at one point. Oh. Personally, I like the revolving guests opposed to one permanent guest. And ultimately, she said she wanted her own talk show, so she would stay away from a duo. We already got popped once. Totally agree. Smart girl. I think that's sickening. I think that's cute. I think that's good. I think I don't know. I feel like she's going in the right direction that I like. I'm seeing her do them little teaching moments, talking about transness. I just hope that I just hope that she takes those teaching moments seriously and try to keep it. When you try to teach, you got to make sure you are just not centering your own beliefs and you are explaining how this is a reflection of the whole community. Because you can have personal beliefs that don't align with the whole community. And so you got to be really tender about when you start teaching the public, you got to be real tender in how you talk about it. Because then you put yourself in the position as an educator and not just an entertainer. And so you gotta toe the line. Right. She has her little trans 101. I was down there waiting to hear your voice. You silly. All right. So let me read this letter, y'all, so y'all can see y'all opinions. I'm trying to stop this shaking. Now I already got me thinking about it. Let me hike this skirt up. uh, all right. So this is a comment. So let's read. I love you, Diamond. As always, I am fond of um, your live shows where you speak fluent and frank and as an experienced person. As for trans women being allies to cisgender women or the opposite, cisgender women who are allies are most do it from a humanism, freedomist standpoint, but they really don't know or care much of what trans women go through or even believe the trans woman's identity sometimes or trust it fully. I thought before that being a feminist, as I still am for humanist reasons, that if a cis woman was liberated, then we too, as trans women, would be liberated. But this is far and unrealistic from the truth. Cis women's identity has a born in default of authenticity, privilege, and social status hierarchy that we don't have. And I don't think we will be equal to one day at all, as unfortunately we live in a materialistic, consuming, objectifying world where we do rate things by what we do have and what we can offer to men and the economy. Pause. So it continues, but I want to just address that part. All right. So when this person says, they don't believe our identity or trust it fully. So, in my experience, trans inclusive feminists, I don't experience what you are talking about. So the cis women who have been allies in my life, who have embraced me, I don't feel they don't treat me any kind of different way that I feel like, oh my God, they don't see my womanhood. Like the ones that are actually inclusive. Now, the trans exclusive ones, yes, of course, you're going to get that kind of opinion. But I don't know about the cis women who embrace trans women just not trusting our womanhood or not accepting our identity or believing our identity. Like they're just kind of pretending. I can feel when somebody doesn't accept my womanhood. Like it's something about how they engage with you that you feel it. Like you can feel how they're coming off. And that's not how feminists, particularly feminists or people that are not feminists but just accept my womanhood. I I don't feel that. I don't feel that's necessarily true. That's not saying that it's not true to you, but for me, that's not my experience with women who accept me in my womanhood. I thought that if cis women got liberated, that we would too as trans women, but this is far unrealistic for the truth. So this is the thing about it. On a journey towards a particular goal. Okay? Now, where we are, that goal may seem phantasmagorical. It may seem like, oh my God, smoke and mirrors and fantasy and so far in the distance, this never could happen. Yes, if you're a pessimist, I think that you can think that it's so far away. And it sounds like you have a very pessimistic view of the world, there's some things that I do have a pessimistic view of the world. There's some things that I feel the same way, but this isn't one of them. So the world that I am fighting for as a Black trans woman is a liberation for women of all kinds, a liberation for minority races of all kinds. I do not think I'm going to see that world in my lifetime. I don't think I'm going to see it, but the time that I am here, I am going to do my part in my generation to push the culture forward so that whoever comes after me can take on the mantle like a relay race and go the rest. But we have to push. There was a time, and it's, I know people like, oh my God, you're always bringing up race, always bringing up slavery. But there was a time when it was fantasy for a slave to see a world that slavery doesn't exist. It was so much in the culture that they were super pets, that they were seen as super pets, like cattle, that was a part of the fucking culture. And so seeing something new or something different was unrealistic. But generation after generation pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And here we are, still dealing with the ramifications of that, but we're in a whole different playing field than they were. Still dealing with the shit. You feel what I'm saying? Still dealing with the stuff, but we're just in a whole different position of power. Even when we think about the Meghan Markle and the Harry situation that's going on with Britain, we know the gross history of colonization of the monarchy and all that kind of stuff. Like, they are the fucking seed of white supremacist delusion. They are the seed. They are the fucking root. They are the fucking root, baby, of all this shit. So, this racial shit. So, what they did to Princess Diana in the 90s, what they were able to do is not what they're able to do to Meghan Markle today because of the powers that we have in media, the power that the public has in media. There is they can't control the narrative in the way that they could back in the day, in the 90s or early before that, where they can actually give breadcrumbs to the fucking tabloids and be an inside track to be able to control the narrative of what was handed in the Buckingham Palace, what's being said. And so they are quite vulnerable in the sense that this cultural structure of the monarch is fucking ridiculously stupid. It doesn't make sense. It is the pillar of white supremacy. It is the seed. Like, come on. And so when the public realizes in Britain, not in America, we just on the outside looking in. When they realize this, why are we spending our money on this shit? Like, this is worthless. We know that y'all bloodline don't make y'all any different than us. Why are we spending our fucking money in this? This doesn't make sense. They're fragile as fuck. But now we're in a different position where they couldn't play the game that they played with Diana, with Meghan Markle. And so this is making them more fragile. So they are frantic to keep that afloat. So I say all of that to say we're each year, each decade, each generation is going to be in a different fight towards that fantastic fantasy that we want to create, that utopia, in a different fight. We're going to always have opposition. We're going to always have those cisgender women who are not going to believe our transness. We're going to always have those racist people that are not going to believe in white privilege and white supremacy, or they're going to believe in it and still want to uphold it because they have the power and not want to give up the power. You see what I'm saying? We're going to have these different layers of different type of people. We're always going to have those cishet men that feels like cis heterosexuality is the way to go. It is just the God-given divine way to go. And if you don't not align with that, then you are wrong. We're going to always have those people. But over time, I believe, that's my optimistic self, over time, we are going to constantly be pushing the culture forward, so much so that eventually our generations down the line, we got free in 1870, 1865, but, with Juneteenth even longer. So we got free then. Here we go now in 2021. That's over 100 years. How much is that? That's 150 or however many, almost 150 years or a little over 150, whatever. You do the math. 150 years. 150 years from now, what does that look like? What is that going to look like for our kids, trans youth, and so on and so on and so on? It's our job in our decade, while we are breathing, to me, my opinion, is we're moving the culture forward so the next generation, next decade can push. Thank you, Will. Thank you, 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 thank you. Progression can be painfully slow, but each take whatever steps we can to advance the mission. That's all we can do, because we know there's a power, there's a force to keep us the same or take us back. There's a force that we got to constantly push and mold. And what we just did a live about the show on Netflix on Amend. On that show, it really points out how the progression of race, the progression of women, the progression of gays, the progression of trans folks, the progression of all the minority communities, marginalized communities, how it's just a slow grind. You win this one, you lose this one. You win this one, you lose this one. You win this one. It just keeps going. Oh, push us back, push us forward too. It's always one step back, two step forward. One step back, two step forward. It's always like that. There's always a look at Dred Scott. The Dred Scott case. That was a horrible decision in our country, but we undid that and moved our culture forward. But at that time, it felt like a loss. Like, oh shit. Plessy versus Ferguson. Brown versus Board of Education. They're just cases that moved us forward and pushed us back. You get what I'm saying? It just depends on, what the tea is. Where we are, what generation you're in. And each movement is simultaneously happening at the same time, but going at different paces. When we talk about the upheaval with race in the 60s, and then queerness happening, and then There's so many things happening. You can send all at one time, and they're slowly. Each one is slowly changing. The 90s to me was the 90s and the early 2000s was the renaissance of gay culture. Like they had a step back with the AIDS epidemic of the late 80s and early 90s. It was like demonize the gays, demonize the gays, demonize the gays. But then that backlash from the queer people to say no, it put them in positions. It moved the backlash to the AIDS epidemic, put them in positions where, ooh, we're gonna have a gay HIV positive person on the Real World. Pedro, I remember Pedro. We're gonna have him on the Real World and talking about it. Our first gay person on a reality TV show, or I think he was the first gay one. I think and talk about the experience, change the culture by showing this experience, and so on. And then over time, from the 90s, like 2005 on to 05, we started to see these the gay narrative be different. You see what I'm saying? It started to be more human. Where even after Stonewall, even though that was a time when we acknowledged that riot kind of happening, even after Stonewall, there still was like weird shit. It still was a subculture. It still felt like queer culture still felt like a subculture. That's why we have Paris is Burning. That's why we have these clubs that are underground in Britain and in America that are like alternative clubs. They're literally called the alternative community, alternative clubs. They're not a part of the culture. But in late 90s, early 2000s, to me, we started to see queer people being a part of the mainstream culture. And so now a certain level of normalcy about gay people, not everywhere, but there's a certain level of normalcy about sexuality. And so now the new frontier is gayness. So, I mean, not gayness, transness, gender identity. And so we start to see this change in 2004, 2005. We started to see Laverne being on Diddy. We started to see these cases. We started to see, because Ellen, we saw the queer change in the late 90s. Ellen became the talk show host, and she's become this major thing. So, not saying that gayness is just fully accepted, no, but I'm talking about it being a part of the normal mainstream fabric. Yes, it is. It's something different than what it was in the 80s and the early 90s. And so the trans thing started to happen. We started to see Jerry Springer, super, super negative, super, super, but it's still a level of visibility that we hadn't seen. There wasn't, when did you see a trans person prior to, not a drag queen, because we saw RuPaul in the 90s. That was still a gay man in drag. But an actual trans person, the first time I saw one was Jerry. Ricky Lake, or Jenny Jones, blah 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 blah. And those were like negative depictions. Oh no. Sometimes I seen them on like late 90s, like Donahue, shit like that. But it still was like a super subculture, super fetish. They were setting up saying the most ridiculous questions. They canceled the fuck out of Ellen when she first came out. Absolutely, they did in the 90s. Absolutely. I want to say he was the first black gay man, Sean, I saw in a relationship on TV that wasn't part of a talk show, right? And so there was these things. Speaking of Madison, speaking of reality TV, the trash reality TV, trash talk shows, those were the ones that was actually showcasing these cases. That was actually the start of the culture moving forward. If you pay attention, we're all of us is down here mentioning talk shows, Sally Jesse Raphael, reality TV shows. That trash, low-level TV is actually where you see the change started to happen, if you pay attention. Because of the sensationalism, they're getting ratings, but it's also giving a certain visibility. And once the visibility happens, then the humanity starts to happen. We have to respond to it. Like this community has to respond to Jerry Springer. That is trash. That is not how we all want to be depicted. That's not how we're not all out here tricking. Because that was going along with the narrative. Oh, she's telling that she's trans on this show, and oh my God, they live this life of deception and da 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 da. We had to respond to that, and then we started to get shows like P. Diddy on having Laverne on his show, and then it just grows, and so we're now in a place where it's growing to mainstream. We got a Pose, we got a Jenny Mock as a producer, we got T.S. Madison doing reality TV. We have this thing, this shift that's happening, and it's a slow shift, but it's happening. Exactly. I looked to talk shows back in the day to see my community as we didn't see ourselves in the mainstream shows. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. All right, so let me go back to the letter. How much time we got? We got about 20 minutes. Okay. Cisgender women's identity has a born in default, authenticity, privilege, social status hierarchy that we don't have, and I don't think we will be equal. Okay, so let's talk about that. So how do I say this? So yes, as they were paying a coin for our stories, whether they were real or not. True. A cheap coin, making millions, and giving us 500. So yes, surface level, cis women have a built-in authenticity. What did you call it? What's the word you use? Authenticity, privilege, and social status hierarchy. Great, you're right on the surface level. But remember what I was saying earlier about the utopia, about that fantasy, about the thing that we are trying to create a reality. We are trying to equalize it. We are trying to dismantle these systems that don't give us the freedom to transition, that don't give women the freedom to be whatever level of woman that they are on, particularly Black women, that without them being kicked out of the rules of femininity. We are trying to create this world. So you are pessimistic. Like this letter feels like you are being pessimistic. Like, yes, right now they have a social hierarchy. That right now they have some privilege. Yes, over us. But we are trying to work hard to get to the point where we are accepted as women. Are you going to totally get everybody on board? No. You're not going to totally get everybody on board for it first. This is not what's going to happen. When we were trying to see Black people as human beings, fully human beings, every white person wasn't on board. There were some abolitionists that were like, these are humans. And then there were some other white people that was like, no. There was some fake science. There was some scientific racism and biological racism, fake science that was created to try to prove that Black folks were not women, that were not human. But over time, Are there still some white people that exist like that? Absolutely. Absolutely. But over time, the mentality changes. The mentality warps to something better, not perfect, but it's way better. How we think about black people now and how we thought about black people in the Phyllis Wheatley days. Listen, have y'all read Phyllis Wheatley? I'm not undermining her brilliance and her skills, but if you read her stuff in comparison to now, we like, girl, y'all was excited about a slave writing this. Years later, we're gonna have a Toni Morrison, but this right here, what Phyllis Wheatley was writing, y'all was amazed that a slave wrote this. But at that time, it was like amazing because folks, they couldn't read. It was illegal to read. It was illegal to do. So this little poem that she did was amazing to them. It wouldn't be amazing to us because what was happening at the time, what was happening, the not the temperature, what's the word? My brain is fogging. The climate of culture at the time. This bar was low. The bar was fucking low. And so somebody coming in reading and writing like a fucking 7-year-old or a teenager was amazing because they wouldn't let us do it. It was illegal. And so this white woman teaching her how to read and write and then her doing some poetry. Ooh, groundbreaking. But the bar was so fucking low. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to shift that climate. We're trying to change it. So we're trying to give us all power. Now there's some cis women that's gonna be like, oh, they're coming in on our territory. I'm not even a woman now. We can't even, we're fighting the men, and here's these men that used to be women that used to be men and coming and taking our space. And you know how they be so extra. So extra. You know, and there's gonna be some people that's not with it. And then there's gonna be some people that are. But eventually, over time, if we keep pressing and keep pressing, this is gonna be so old. This is gonna be so stupid. It's just stupid. It's gonna eventually be stupid. It's gonna be eventually, like even now, if you are a trans woman and you've been living your life as long as I have, I don't even think it's hope, Amara. I think it is, we see it. Let me give you a perfect example. Look at dating as a trans woman now. So I've been dating men since the 90s. I sat in on a live Zoom on Facebook of 7 trans attracted men discussing being trans attracted and what they want in a relationship with a trans woman and problems that they have with a trans woman. That never would have happened back on Black Planet. If say that was a possibility, that technology for them to all be talking about it was a possibility back then. That would not have happened. They would have been scared. They would have been complaining. They would not have been on this platform openly talking about I'm trans attracted. They'd be on BGC, BGC with profiles with no pictures on them, getting their life in the chat room. But they would not be on no platform talking about I'm trans attracted with my face on the camera. You know how hard it was for me to fucking get when I was, this is 2010, when I was on the fucking YouTube trying to get somebody to get on camera to talk about being trans attracted until I found Troy in 2012. I have been looking for somebody since 2008 to interview and talk about being trans attracted. And Troy fucking 50 at the time. So of course he old at the time. You know how long it took me to find somebody to get on camera? And now we got whole slews of niggas getting on camera talking about I'm trans attracted. Now, are they problematic? Sometimes, yes. Totally, sometimes, yes. Most of the time, yes. Are they problematic? But it's a whole different world. We are in a whole different world of dating. So we are seeing the change now. We are seeing and Malik Yoba, even that's one of them things that, oh, it's a step forward, but then we have a step back. How did I find that show? How do I find that show? I'm not for sure exactly what you're talking about. What are you talking about, Coco? What show? Misogynistic as hell, absolutely. But it just was so it's just so different. And part of that difference is if I'm being real with y'all, part of it is good, but part of it is bad too. Like and it might be I'm just old school and I'm used to a different type of guy and I'm used to maneuvering in the world with a certain level of discretion that gives me a comfortability. I might be used to that. And so this change, this openness, I'm not really used to. And I'm trying to get used to it. Explain the Malik Yoba. What do you want me to explain? I wish he would have found me on the block thing. No, I didn't want to be found by. I don't want to be found by Eddie Murphy. I didn't want to be found by what Miss Thing, Kuj, Miss Tony Newman. I don't want to be found by. I needed that coin, but I didn't want to be found by them. I didn't want to be that. They were just regular tricks. You were always disposable by them tricks. That's some old school stuff. The Zoom trans show, that'll be interesting in hearing their perspective. Oh, it is called, what are they called? I don't know the name of their show. You have to bask in the benefits of the work, Diamond. Don't be scared, child. I've accepted that I'm going to be alone because I just don't. Men Like Us podcast. Yes, Men Like Us podcast. They have a page on Facebook, and he brings on his friends. A couple of them I had to read the fuck down and block that I seen on there. Yeah, but I think they have a. I think that they have a. I think they have work to do, and they're doing the work. And I cannot judge them by where they are. I can critique them and tell them what I think when I'm asked, but where they are in their journey, I'm seeing progress, so I'm gonna let them progress at their own pace. And when I'm asked to be involved, I'll join in. I joined in for 2 seconds the other day and was like, "Ooh, the ghetto. This is ghetto." Nigga was talking about they had to be. Don't waste your 20s. This fucking something about, I can't really explain what he was talking about. It was about not wasting your 20s, where he had a standard about where he think people should be and what they should be doing, a trans woman in their 20s. And my thing is, nigga, by whose standards? Like, you don't know what people is doing, and life experience is just important as he was talking about working and doing all that bullshit. Nigga, fuck out of here. Like everybody's journey towards learning and education and being a mature adult goes at different paces and at different times and in different ways. And just because you have a particular way that you think people should do in their 20s doesn't mean that that is the right way. Go sit your ass down. You're a He was about weighing the pros and cons when Malik Gilbert said he was trans attracted. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're asking me, but um, I don't really know what you're asking me to talk about. Did you ask me to talk about it? Wait, hold on. You said bad and good when he does the interview with Breakfast Club. Oh, me. So the good part about Malik Gilbert is we had a high, do I want to say high profile? Yeah, I think he's relatively, he ain't Will Smith, but we know him. In the black community, we know Malik Gilbert. He's one of them black actors that we know. He's like Morris Chestnut. You see what I'm saying? No, he's not Will Smith, but Denzel Washington. But we know Morris Chestnut. We know Malik Gilbert. We know them. And he's attractive. He's an attractive, cisgender, cishet, assuming man. And so somebody of that stature in the community coming out and saying that they are attracted to trans women, that was a step forward. Nobody had done that. Who had done that? That was serious about it and not saying it as a joke. Like they always say it as a joke. And like Dave Chappelle, he always, makes it a joke that he's had trans women or that he's messed with trans women. But I'm talking about somebody really having a serious conversation about being trans attractive. Who has done that in the black community? The white people, white boys did it, but nobody cared about it because they have a level of freedom, a wiggle room around sexuality that, black men just don't. Not fully, but you know what I mean. They have a level of freedom. So coming from a black man, it was groundbreaking. But the negative is he didn't have the cultural competency to educate, to be prepared for the level of education that he needed to do. He didn't have the self-control. He didn't have the cultural competency. That's what it is. He didn't have it. I think before he went on Breakfast Club, before he went on any kind of tour of talking about this type of shit, he should have had a council of people to talk him through it. That ego was his downfall, definitely. Shit happens along the way in life. So what you thought you should be doing at a certain point can be flipped upside down, no fault of your own. Absolutely, Brandon. And expecting somebody to be at a certain level in their 20s of maturity or not even lack of maturity, just them doing things not your way, their own way. He should have listened to Marsha Spade. I don't think we're the only. I think it's a bunch of brilliant-minded people. I think it's a bunch of brilliant-minded people out here. And, he was surrounded by the Carmen Carreras of the world. And as we stated earlier in this video, they lack a certain level of experience. They lack a certain level of cultural competency. Why are there old asses dating 20-year-olds? Child, that's the culture, honey. Hey, Justin. I wasn't even aware of the whole Malik Gilbert situation. I just know he did an interview with Carmen and a Butch Queen. So he did do an interview with Carmen and a Butch Queen, but it actually was a black trans woman on that interview as well. Um, Nala Simone, I love her. LOL, Brianna, the real question. Oh. But yes, I am hoping that Madison explores all these things. I want her to explore these hot topics, these controversial topics in a responsible way. I love the shirt, by the way, Diamond. Thank you, thank you. It is a like bodycon dress that it's like a midi length bodycon dress that goes all the way down past my knee. Somebody got me one. Amara got me one in McDonald's. The girls are sitting up nicely. Yeah, she has a bra on. Hey, honey, I see you losing weight. You look great. I'm not losing nobody's weight, baby. I've been the same size for months. I'm like 290. I ain't losing nobody weight. I just cut my hair. So the weight of hair of the box is all I lost. What's that? That lipstick is fire. This is two colors. It is a Estee Lauder color called Pink Vibrations, I think. I think it's called Pink Vibrations. Maybe not. Oh, no, I don't know what it is. I think it's called Pink Vibrations. Is it Estee Lauder? I don't know, child. I can't find it, but I think it's called Pink Vibrations. Hey, hold on, this might be it. No, that's not it. I think it's called Pink. That's I have to look it up. And then it's on top of Maybelline Matte. Good topic, Diamond. Until next time. Yes, darlings. Um, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the conversation with her brother too. But yes, it is 2:03. So make sure y'all check out. That's a great duo lip tint. Yeah, it's like a matte. I put the red matte Maybelline, and then in the middle I put the pink vibration. It's kind of done rubbed off because I've been talking, but to try to give it this kind of look. Yes. Let me think. Let me think. But yes, check out T.S. Madison. I think that on WeTV is the T.S. Madison experience. I can't wait to see where she goes. It comes on every Thursday. Is that right? Every Thursday at 10 or 9. Somewhere. Check it. Check your local listings. Check your local listings. What else? That's about it. Make sure y'all thumbs up. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Um, so y'all can know when I go live. I do randomly go live. Like last night, I went live and talked about my work experiences, just some things that I thought about White women making me cry. Brandon just posted it last night. We had a couple of stories that I told um, about white women not being able to make me cry because I was thinking about Meghan Markle. The video is not about Meghan Markle, but it was inspired by that situation. How she said Kate Middleton had made her cry, but it's still up. But I know y'all was asleep because it was late. Brandon just posted the link, so check it out there. What else? Brianna, when is y'all year anniversary episode coming? When is that coming out? Brianna is the host of Box 512, and they are having their year podcast anniversary. When is that coming out? Post the link. Come out. What does Chrissy say? Friday after this one coming up. So now not this Friday, but the next Friday, their year. Check them out Friday too. But their year anniversary is coming up. And so make sure y'all are tuning in. Thanks for the live. It's been fine. See you next time. I'm about to go get me some McDonald's, Amara. While you playing. I really don't. I don't need to get McDonald's. No, I'm not. I'm not going to get McDonald's. I'm going to go in there and air fry me some shrimp and some potatoes. I don't know. Something I can cook. Because I'm spending too much money on food. But all right, y'all. Make sure y'all check out TS Madison, and I will see y'all Friday. Friday. And Friday we are going to be talking about Allen versus Farrow. Woody Allen versus Mia Farrow. Allen versus Farrow on HBO. So it is only 3 episodes, and it's tons of tea and entertainment. It got this black gay man that was like, you got me fucked up, and sued New York State. That has something to do with that. I don't want to ruin the story for y'all, but it's so much tea that we didn't know about this Woody Allen molestation case. And y'all need to check it out. So we're going to talk about it Friday because it's full of mess, full of tea, full of hot tea. So watch that and be ready to talk about it. All right. 7 o'clock on Friday. Be good.